schooling has changed some in the last decade or so.
You should have my husband. But my husband is the most educated person and has the most unique perspective on history, and he has history.
You're listening to Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Lots of opinions. You just can't tell people he's my husband.
You know, all that was on the air.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, I was like, can they hear all of that?
Yes.
Wow.
Can you clip it off? Are you serious?
You didn't say anything mean.
Okay, honey, I love
history
you.
is-
I love your opinions, honey, of history.
I just to see. I was kind of, how long is she going to do this? But I was going to cut you off if you said, but he's a terrible person. No, yeah, nothing like that. No, you were very complimentary. Okay.
Very unique views on history that differ from what's in the textbooks.
Okay. Well, yeah, and then sometimes I did too. You know, the textbooks are written in a very neutral way. You didn't say anything wrong or mean. Okay. I wouldn't have let you do
I
that.
can't talk about history and political things.
Yes, well, there's nothing political about that.
There is definitely something political about what version of history is taught to our children.
Yes, but that's just, you're not giving your opinion about what should be or shouldn't be. You're just saying it just is, right?
That's right. That's right. Thank you for permission to give my opinion.
So glad I brought this up.
No, we were talking about it off the air, and then she starts getting on this roll, and then he starts running it, and then I just, let's see where this goes.
Yes. Unedited mic of Amber Case.
You know, you had that look on your face. It reminds me of an episode of Big Bang Theory when Penny was joking about a marriage she had to her ex-boyfriend in Vegas, and everybody's like, you know that's real, don't you? No, it isn't. No, it's real. No, it isn't. You know, you had that look on your face. No, it wasn't on the air. No, it wasn't. Well, that's okay. That's why we like Hometown Podcasts. So just to be clear, donors and contributors of Harvest House, this is Amber and Kelly are very neutral politically. They have no opinions whatsoever except give money and food.
That's right. It's a spiritual lens.
Yeah.
Feed, clothe, and restore.
No, I'd like to do a show on education like that, and it is true that sometimes the textbooks don't tell you the whole story. They're not designed to tell you the whole story. That's what I'm there for, or was, is try to fill in the cracks. And having teachers with their own views or different views from the textbook, that's been around forever. I mean, it isn't like some new thing, you know. So, because I'd have something in the I never really use the textbooks anyway, but if there was something in the textbook that said, well, look, guys, this was written in 1975 or whenever the first time it was written, you know, and so this really is what story happened since then. So,
Well, and there's, you know, like I was homeschooled, and like the Christian Heritage Foundation has a different version of the
yeah, and you know, there you go. But anyway, we're here to talk about Harvest House,
Yes,
not
we
education.
are.
Yeah,
That's right. Tune in for another podcast on another day.
Yeah, well, y'all been pretty busy. I mean, I've been talking to y'all about coming on for a little while, but just like you just felt like you were swamped. What's y'all just have that kind of need going on, or what?
The first of the year, you know, we're getting things in order and getting our strategic plans in line, and no one wants to talk about that. But it's just, there's been, you know, the first of the year, there's a lot going on. Just getting things in order, getting the ball rolling, getting the trajectory for the year. So, but the need is great. You know, we're not open for the whole time during the holidays. So there's people that start coming more regularly at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I was talking to my friends about Promises, and they're having issues, if you will, because they have to, you know, they're not open all the time either, and they get swamped at certain times, particularly the holiday season. Hey, but have you put it on the link yet?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right. Anyway, let's talk about the sponsors. I got a new one today. Actually, well, I got two new ones. Come to think about it,
Exciting.
yeah, it is. And boy, I needed to thank the Lord anyway. But you know, the first three have been around for a little while now, particularly Otto, over at our place. I was there last Monday. Usually on Thursday mornings we have our men's powwow every other week from our Sunday school class. We moved it to Monday for scheduling purposes for some of us, and you know, we just give up and talk football because we can't solve the world's problems. and so it's a great place, great food, all the things, and it's very comfortable. I really enjoy that. Plus, Gina's. I love Gina's. I really do. I don't know if you can go there, but don't you work across the street?
We do. I will say our place has the best omelets around. Yes. If you haven't had an omelet from there, it's a must.
I need to try it because I'm pretty standard. When I go with the men, I get a standard breakfast. I don't get into all the
that like biscuits and gravy.
I'd love to have biscuits and gravy, but it's bad for my numbers. No, I usually get eggs.
You're watching your figure.
No, it's my diabetes number. No,
They have really good eggs Benedict too.
really. Well, I tried that once, and I'll maybe try it again. But I really like Gina's. That's where I do my business, so to speak. When I meet with potential or current sponsors, we'll go to Gina's, and the food's great, and the service is great, and all the things about
I think
what
they
you
have
want.
bingo there right now.
They have it on
yes.
Monday nights, and they
Yeah.
have it's Tuesday
Tuesday
night.
night.
Tuesday,
Tuesday
yeah.
nights.
They have chess on Monday nights.
I was there last Friday. I walked over there from the office and ate 2 Chicago-style hot dogs.
That's what I had the last time I was there. Isn't it good? Yeah.
They were excellent.
Yes, I like them. And those hot peppers to go with them and all that. No, that's great. I've gotten the hot dogs. I've gotten some of the sandwiches, like the meatball sandwiches, and you better take a dish towel with you because there's a lot of sauce, that kind of thing. It's great. And so, anyway, going to the other sponsors because they paid too. Also, my friend John Williams over at Old Pro Roofing, 817-734-2756. I saw him at the B&I meeting yesterday, and he said if you have any kind of damage on your roof that was caused by the storms of last spring, there is a 365-day period in which you can report it. And so I think March 8th last year we had hail damage. And if you just said, well, I'll wait till I get more of it or something like that, you need to remember that they don't have to pay these insurance companies. And if they can find a way not to do it, if it's old damage, for example, they're going to make it very difficult for you. So call John, have him inspect your roof. We haven't had much rain yet, but sooner or later we're going to have weather. So 817-734-2756. Another B&I friend, my buddy, there he is, Jeff Kelly, 817-781-0546 at the Wethington Agency here in town. That's why you need to deal with hometown folks. Like Old Pro is like a block from City Hall. Wethington is like 3 blocks from City Hall. And by the way, did you see how they tore down the old police station? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to have to ask Alex Kelly what's going on there. I mean, he had told us before that was going to happen about several months ago. I just wonder if somebody's bought it.
I don't know, but I know that the police got to train in it before they tore it down. And Officer Byram, they said that they had some really good training exercises in there before.
Because they could tear it up and not worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, back to Jeff since he's paying.
Yes, back to
Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com.
I saw him on Saturday. Yeah, at the business showcase.
Oh, yeah, yes. He and John and I were all 3 of us there at the chamber, which I always enjoy that chamber event. You get to meet a lot of people. We were there for B&I purposes, but we also got to talk a little bit about what we do, but mostly it was about B&I. But I like to go in with a bag and, candy.
Chapsticks.
Yeah, chapsticks. That's
Lots of good chapsticks.
Well, my wife is into chapsticks. She's a Carmex queen. Anyway, she's like, here, give me some sugar. No Carmex. Anyway, she's doing that on purpose. Anyway.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, it's another one, yeah. The trials and tribulations of the Allard home. Anyway, here's a couple of new guys coming on board. I don't know if you know of this one, but the Burleson News Express is a print paper. You do know about it, okay?
I did their ribbon cutting for the ambassadors. So interesting. He shared with us how, and I thought it was really unique, about how most people don't keep, we have all of our photos in digital form. And so he talked about how that, the days whenever a child would have a newspaper clipping and get to put it on the refrigerator or put it in a scrapbook, and we don't have that anymore. And so, yeah, I did. I met him the other day doing ribbon cutting.
And that's true because, we used to have the Burleson Star. And what the teachers always liked was the Thursday copy always had the arrest reports. And so we put them in the library and say, I knew that guy would get it. I had that kid 2 years ago. I know. Or, I never can't believe that. I can't believe that this person would get, mostly just trivial stuff. But there was sometimes, arrested for, attempted homicide. Woo! and he was sitting in my class. But anyway, we missed all that, not having that anymore. And so he's trying to get that up and running, and it's free right now. He's looking for advertisers, of course. I'll be in it. In the back page, I think, right next to Rich Hooper's ad for the Journey. And, you can get them at several places. Like I saw a collection of them at Gina's. I saw some at Daydream Coffee. I saw some at
Burleson Library.
Well, I haven't been at Burleson Library. That's somewhere. So I'm trying to remember. It was at City Hall. Yeah. And so, when I was there for like a BOF meeting. So yeah, there's a lot of places you can get it now. It's listed. There's like 20 places to get it. And he's trying to make this work. And
he definitely brought some by the Harvest House office and shared them with us and showed an interest.
Well, he's looking for material to write about, so you ought to make a good copy for him. Talk about what y'all are doing, particularly with this Vineyard Vibes coming up, whatnot. Also, another new sponsor. Thank God I needed a new sponsor. True Climate, another BNI friend, Will Cobb and his sister Emily Cobb would run this outfit, and they are a very, very reputable and reliable HVAC company. And, there's a lot of them out there, and they're all good. Well, not all of them, but most of them are good. We have a lot of good people, but True Climate, I think, stands out because of the quality of their service and the integrity of their service. And so True Climate Heating and Cooling, I'll have him on the show probably in about a month. I'm pretty booked up until about early April, which is a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Well, I like to be booked up at least a month. I don't like to go into a month and see all this open spaces because, then they have to hear me. And that's not always good. But anyway, because I might say something on the air I regret not knowing the mic is on. Anyway, True Climate, back to Will Cobb. Thank you for joining our little family here. And that is kind of how I look at these sponsors. I mean, I really can endorse not just their business, but them as people. And it makes it a lot easier for me to sit here and go, use their service or go to their restaurant or whatever, because I don't have to have some sort of conflict of conscience about it, because these are really good people and good community citizens. They do a lot for the community other than just try to make a living, so there you go.
I think that's one of the really great things about our community is the fact that we all feel like family. We're all very close and we know each other and we all have great intentions.
Well, there's a few out there that kind of stir the pot, but they're loners, I think. And I don't think that's characteristic of the town as a whole, despite maybe whatever loud presence they may try to make on Facebook or whatever. I think the vast majority of Burleson people are pretty good people. And they are pretty generous to point that they can support not just y'all, but several other nonprofits. A lot of communities don't have as many as we do. I talk to these other communities. I don't know of anything in the other communities like Next Step or like y'all or like Promises or like Crazy 8, or, Wings of Hope.
We have a very unique community.
Yeah. The Wings of Hope will be on the show, I believe, on the 16th. I think that's right, of next month. So we'll see. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but I know they're on next month. But yeah, it is unique. And, to be able to support these various institutions requires a lot from the population, a lot of generosity. And, to keep not just your food pantry filled, but also your retail store filled. Now, every time I've been by there and I saw your storage area in the back, it looks like there's more clothes there than could feed an army or clothe an army. But they go pretty quick, don't they?
They do go pretty quick. And we don't just, there's, people donate interesting treasures that can't make it out onto the sales floor. And so we recycle that. So we try and use everything. So
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, and I've told people before that this isn't the way to discard your junk, guys. It's, what you need to give to Harvest House or to Rachel's Hope or Crowley House of Hope is things that you yourself would buy, not,
yes.
Well, let's unload this 3-legged chair and that kind of thing.
The 3-legged chair is the least interesting of the things that we get.
I would agree with that for sure.
That's a whole show in and of itself.
Well, we got time, Josh ain't going anywhere, so.
So, okay. So you want me to tell you?
Tell me.
Tell you one of the most. I'm going to keep it PG.
We really got non-PG stuff given to you.
Yes. No.
Oh, my.
Yes, we do. But the most interesting thing was a gun.
A gun,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we had to call the police department. We had a gun
like a handgun or a rifle.
like a handgun.
A handgun, most definitely.
I mean, I'm sure it was accidental, but we had no idea.
Was it like in a bag or something?
I mean, you were the manager then, Kelly. What was it?
It was in a box. It was definitely in a
you
box.
just open the box, boom, there's a 357 Magnum or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, now you got me curious about the non-PG stuff, but I'll just let it go. I'll just let it go. But still, it's, I've heard, people, I've gone to other places and the story is the same. People drop off stuff that they're just trying to get rid of. And like, just take it to the dump. Only get guys out there in the listening audience, give stuff that you yourself would consider wanting in your home. You don't want it anymore. Didn't fit anymore. You changed furniture, whatever. Great. But, if it's junk, throw it in the junk pile.
If it's soiled,
Yeah.
if it's, there's what people don't understand, I don't think, is that it costs us. So if we can't sell it and we can't recycle it, then we have to pay to dispose of it. And so when people donate, I mean, that is an additional cost it costs Harvest House because, if you go by on a Saturday or a Sunday and you see mattresses and couches that are out in the rain getting soaked, we have to pay to dispose of those.
What we need is just a moratorium on the burn ban. You go out that parking lot in front of you, pile it up there, set it on fire, have a massive fire of all that stuff.
If anyone from the fire department's listening and they'd like to do a controlled ban.
A controlled, a
controlled burn.
Yeah, we
that
need
would be great.
Well, there are times I thought, you're better off just really lighting it up and not lighting up, but lighting the stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, lighting it up on the, that was a faux pas. But anyway, just setting it on fire in the back. But I know that, people frown on that, doggone this city, with their
Probably
rules
not a
and
good
laws.
plan. But we are thankful for all the amazing things that people give.
Well,
so don't hear me saying that I'm not, but there needs to be an education on what?
Well, your predecessor, Jennifer, would say the same thing. She would just be exasperated coming Monday morning or driving by Sunday evening and see all this stuff piled up, even though the signs clearly state, don't leave it here. It's against city ordinance. And on that, they have the same rules at other places like that, Goodwill and such. When I was teaching school at the high school, thrifting became a big deal. Is that still a kind of a deal?
It is.
It is.
A lot of the kids, I mean, they could afford a new shirt, but let's go buy a $4 one. Over at your Harvest House or at your Goodwill or whatever.
Not Goodwill. Harvest House, Rachel's Hope, or Crowley House of Hope.
I'm sorry to
You're
bring
entitled to my
Brad.
opinion.
Okay, is that a Goodwill a bad word?
No, it's not. But support local. Support a local ministry that's here.
Well, and that's kind of how I look at it as well. Goodwill does a good job, does the
absolutely.
work, but it's like, if I'm going to have anything to take for resale, I take it to y'all or to Rachel's, and because I do want to keep it local, and when I donate money to something, I want to do it locally, not some big national organization. All those are fine and good,
Absolutely.
but I had this feeling that it's going to go directly back into the community,
That is correct.
and so
It's not a feeling; it's a fact.
well, it is a fact, and. I have seen now, sitting in this position, just how much good work y'all do. Because back in the teens, I knew there was a Harvest House and we'd drop off food for it, and student council do food drives for it, but it really didn't register with me until I started doing this show, just the total package of what y'all are offering. And it's more than just, here's a bag of groceries. And, and just I don't know how you do it, frankly. To tell you, I was going to ask you this question, because I know that you feel internal satisfaction, but there's probably some mornings you wake up and that feeling is a little less prominent. I'd say, right? How do y'all generate the enthusiasm that's necessary for your job, constantly?
So, well, I just had a staff meeting last month, and I talked about this. The joy of the Lord is your strength. And if you are in ministry or you are in the business of helping people, that you cannot give out of what you don't have. And so the Bible is clear that we're supposed to give out of our overflow. So if you are not keeping yourself fed, if you are not disciplined in making sure that you are emotionally, spiritually, and physically balanced, then you'll burn out. Then you'll have a hard time. The joy of the Lord won't you won't have the joy, so you won't have the strength. And so it's really important to make sure that you find ways spiritually, physically, and emotionally to take care of yourself so that you can wake up with the joy. And the difference between joy and happiness is something that's temporary, I'm happy that I had water here. But joy is something that comes internally in spite of your circumstances. And so ministry is hard. People are hard.
Oh, yes.
And there are days that it is very hard to put that happy face on. And so for myself and I challenge my staff, have we done what we need to do? We are called to in this position. We have the privilege and the honor and the responsibility of making sure that we are being an image bearer of Christ. And the only way to do that, the only way to show up is to make sure that you're spending your time alone with God, that you are getting the rest, and that you are a vessel that the Holy Spirit can be a conduit of that joy, of that love.
Is that how you do it, Kelly?
Of course. That's why I'm at church singing every week.
Oh, speaking of singing.
Yeah, I forgot our show tunes.
Yeah, your show tunes. Well, we are past. I don't have time. We already got our entertainment.
I had a whole entire.
Okay, well, we'll go.
No,
then.
I'm just kidding.
No,
We don't have time.
She practiced the sound of music on the way over here. Don't let her lie.
Really?
Don't let her lie.
Are you a do re mi or something like that? Anyway,
I know every song from The Sound of Music.
It's a beating. My wife and I went to Broadway many years ago to see that, and we see this on the movies every year. Why do you want to see it on stage? Well, we did. And I felt the same way watching it live as I did watching the movie, like I'm being flogged, but still.
My husband feels the same way, but it's my favorite movie.
I think it's on the top of my wife's list too.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't mind musicals.
The hills are alive. No, I just kidding. I am the worst singer ever.
No, I got that crown.
Thank you.
Way to go.
Well, back to the topic. When I was teaching school, most days I get up, go do it. It wasn't like, it wasn't like a sprint out of the sack. Yay, I get to educate children today. Or like, I'd rather, set myself on fire just to get up and do it, right? But some days like, please, is that my appendix? I hope, and so you had to find things during the day to try to make you glad you got up and did it, some sort of interaction with some of the kids or whatever else, and most days are pretty good. Some days are kind of hard, but most days are pretty good. Some days are great.
It's hard. I mean, we're dealing with people when they're at their worst. So when people are having a crisis, then they show up not their best selves.
Yeah.
And that takes a toll on you.
It does. And when you yourself are going through things, when I was teaching, there was some things going on in my private life that were tough. I don't want to get into all of that, but you had to put it aside and do your job. Yeah. And, if there's some financial pressures in your life, or you're having some sort of conflict in the family, or if you fill in the blank, I always admire the fact that people in y'all's position keep coming back and taking a swing at the pitch, even though some mornings, I'm sure, are tough.
Well, it goes both ways too. There's things that happen at home that affect you at work, but it's really hard to leave work at work.
Absolutely.
And not, my husband sometimes jokes with me if he says, if I need to see you smile or happy, I got to show up during your work day, because by the time I get home, I'm drained.
Right.
And that's not fair to your family for you not to show up, 100%.
And here's a confession I'll make is that was it 26, about 10, 12 years ago, I was bringing work home, so to speak, much too often, and it cost me. And I was resistant on getting the kind of help that one needs for that, the kind of counseling services I'm referring to. And I finally availed myself of those, and things did get better, but there's still some things that were done that can't be undone. And so, so that's hard, not taking work home with you, but I got better at it. And, but like I said, there was things I wish I could go back and undo. And I think one thing I would do is I would have availed myself of counseling and whatever other help I would have needed much earlier than I did. But, men my generation are like, we just tough things out. We just soldier on.
White knuckle it.
Well, and I asked my doctor about that, because when he was saying you need to do these things, I said, well, what are they doing in my dad's generation? Oh, they got drunk and beat the hell out of the kids.
Yeah.
And so, that's how they handled it. And so that isn't this idea that other generations older than us had it figured out. That's not true.
Well, and I think a lot of, in my opinion, that in that generation, the generation before your generation, they did a lot of physical work, right? So if you're out in the field working all day, even if you're angry or frustrated or there's something wrong, you're still going to have less of that built up.
Right.
We have hard work, but a lot of it's done sitting down.
Yes.
And so that you don't have the physical release that you need from physical labor.
Right.
And so I think that helped.
Or they're too tired, at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But that's what I admire is that the consistency you almost have to maintain just to do these jobs. And then I know for a fact, I remember our friend Debbie Beeman, who's now in Houston.
Yes.
We talked about that. Unfortunately, she had to retire because her health was getting poor. And she's living with her sister, I believe.
Yeah.
We would talk about the fact that she would literally stay awake at night wondering if there's going to be enough food in the pantry. Now, fortunately, the people at Promises, which is connected to First Baptist, which I'm a part of, we've picked up our game on the donations. I think our preacher said, "Hey guys, this is what's happening. It's time to amp up your game," and they have for the most part. But I'm sure Debbie would say, I'd wake up in the middle of the night wondering, are we going to have enough food to make it to Thursday? Yeah, have you ever had that?
I've been blessed since we've been in our roles in leadership that we have not had that. But I do remember a time whenever I was, I don't think it was a couple years ago, when we didn't have hardly any food on the shelves, and Jennifer went and did a Facebook Live.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the community surrounded and came. I mean, that's again going back to our community. We have such an incredible community, and they surrounded the Harvest House, and just the donations came in. And so anytime we've been in that situation, we don't have a First Baptist. We have just the community at large, and they step in.
Well, let's be clear. I mean, Promises will take food from any source. I mean, but it's just that they do have an anchor to go to.
Yeah.
And they have an advocate in the pulpit, so to speak, to say, "Hey, brothers, sisters, get off your butts," and that kind of thing. The advantage maybe y'all have is y'all been around a long time, and people are just accustomed to giving to Harvest House. I mean, I knew about Harvest House when I moved in here. Back 30-something years ago, I got acquainted with it even in early 1990s.
Yep, 1984.
Yeah, and so you've had that. Are y'all still supported by the Ministerial Alliance? That's who started it.
That is who started it.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the Burleson Ministerial Alliance started it, and then I think it was. I've been doing some research on some different things. I think it was about 2015, if what I read is accurate, that changed to Your Harvest House.
Right.
And it was a corporate. It's now a corporation.
And it's better off that way. The reason we started Promises in the late 90s had nothing to do with Harvest House. We thought we were kind of like shipping our obligations to the community out to somebody else, like we're contracting them out to a third party. And we felt like as a church, we need to be a more physical presence. And, and Harvest House is a faith-based operation, but it's not an evangelical operation. And we wanted some of that as well. And we weren't going to impose our evangelical mission on a community service. And so we wanted to say, okay, are we just, subletting our Christian duties to an outside group? We ought to be having a more obvious presence in the community for the Lord than just donating food to the Harvest House. And so that's why we also have counseling and other types of situations. And you don't have to be, devout. You don't even have to even be a believer to get food from Promises. But we want them to know that we're doing this in the name of the Lord, not just because we're, doing it because they have nothing better else to do or whatever. So,
their hope is found in Jesus.
Well, and I was part of the original committee back in the day, back in the mid to late 90s that started Promises, and it was a very small thing, and now it's grown. And, of course, y'all have grown, too. I remember it was just the place on Thomas.
Yeah.
And now you got that retail outlet.
The resale store is incredible. That is, it's incredible. And now we have, we were a recipient of the ARPA funds that allowed us to build out the one building and then get the things that we needed to do the resale store on the corner where the old Hallmark store was. And so what a blessing that's been for us in our community.
And not just for what you're providing, but the visibility and all that. So the old Hallmark store. See, us old timers can remember, oh, that used to be this or it used to be that. Right there we were Dairy Twins stood, and that kind of thing.
Are you calling me an old timer?
I'm calling you a well-versed in the history of Burleson.
Kelly gets to be in her 30s, and I'm an old timer. And wouldn't you like to know that we're like the same age?
Yeah, okay. Old timers like me is what
I was going to take it. I was like, ooh.
No, I'm talking about old timers like me. You're not an old timer. How long you lived in Burleson?
Since I was 11. I mean, I've gone in and out, but since I was,
really?
Yeah, but I lived on the Tarrant County side of Burleson, still 76028, but the Rendon area.
Right. Well, for some reason, I thought you moved here as an adult. Okay, so you guys old time. And Kelly, how long you been here?
So I didn't go to school in Burleson, but my grandparents owned a home here, and so I spent summers in Burleson.
Who are your grandparents?
John and Jean Graves.
You're kidding. John Graves is your grandfather?
Yes,
Never
he
heard
is.
of him. Anyway, she walked right into that one. I don't know John Graves.
Hannah. He owned a business in Arlington.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So, but how long you've been here? About 7 or 8 years now, right?
Like I said, I've been here on and off my whole entire life.
Right, but
How long have you lived in Burleson?
On and off since the late 90s.
really?
yes.
Oh, okay. Well, now we're going to put on the screen your phone number and address. so
Please
we can find you.
Please don't do that.
I don't have access to that. Holy Toledo. That would be wrong.
Cold in here. Is it not cold in here to you?
No.
That's why I wore a jacket.
Josh, she's cold.
Josh, it's really
Don't
cold.
do it, Josh.
It's cold. He's going to change the thermostat.
Don't do it. She'll have the heater running in here if you let her.
Is that right? You're cold-natured, are you?
I am. I am cold. But I have hypothyroidism, which causes me to have an insensitivity to cold. So when it gets really cold, I can't focus on what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah, I know a couple of people like that. My daughter gets cold pretty easily, and I think it has something to do with her thyroid, but whatever. Gosh, how do we get onto this? We do this. I do this with Chamber of Commerce, too. I get Melissa and Candace here, and it's like, ladies, Chamber, remember? Anyway, but you were there, speaking of Chamber, you were there Saturday. What'd you think of it?
It was great.
Yeah,
I'm an ambassador for the Chamber, so I was part of the committee that helped put it together. It's great.
It's we have to compete with the weather because it's such a nice day Saturday. It's like, people kind of forget there's things going on because they don't want to lie in the sun during February.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
Yes, it was. But
we didn't have as much in attendance as we had the year before, but it was still a good, steady.
Some years are more participated in than others, and I don't think there's like any way to really figure it out. Next year it'll be maybe bumper to bumper. Who knows?
Yep.
And I'm sure there'll be discussions about how we could change this and change that or whatever else. But essentially, it's a very good program. I know my little group benefits from it. I like it. I see a lot of old friends there. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. And I don't really have anything that I think would change. It's just some years you have a great turnout. Some years it's a little less, but it's consistent. I had great feedback from the businesses that they got good connections that they were there. People were educated on what's available in the community. And then, we have the little dancers, and that's always fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, my daughter never got into dance that much. I'm glad, too, because that's a lot of hassle for the parents, but whatever. Their little darlings go out there in their, little outfits and their makeup and whatever else. Whatever. Back to Harvest House. We keep missing that. What do y'all need right now?
What do we need? Well, we'll let Kelly talk about our event that's coming up.
Oh, okay.
So we're preparing for our annual community concert, Vineyard Vibes, and it's happening on April 26th from 3 to 7 p.m. out at Lost Oak Winery. This is our 6th annual year to do it, so we're super excited about that. We need sponsors for that. That would be great. We need people to attend the event and buy tickets for that. And we're also looking for vendors and volunteers.
Well, I've been to a couple of these, and it's always fun. You see a lot of your friends out there. I remember one year Susie Morgan and her band was there. Are they going to play for you again?
They are not. So our Texas headliner this year is the 7-6 band.
Oh, okay.
Mike Purdue's
Mike
band.
Purdue.
Mike Purdue's been on this show 2 or 3 times with his Toys for Tots and such as that. And I know he has a band, and a lot of people say that 7-6 band is very, very good.
It is amazing.
We got a lot of really good singers. I mean, Susie's band is good, and 7-6 is good. I've heard them once before. We got a lot of good talent in this town. And everybody thinks that this is Kelly Clarkson's town, but we've had talented singers here all along.
So we've tried to get Kelly Clarkson to come to Vineyard Vibes. We have not been successful yet. If anybody knows how to reach Kelly Clarkson, we'd love to have her. Kelly Clarkson's family was they had a house fire, and Harvest House helped them many, many years ago. And so,
Really?
yes. So Kelly, if you hear this, don't forget about Harvest House.
Well, people, when they find out, oh, you taught at Burleson High School, did you teach Kelly Clarkson? The answer is yes.
You did?
Yes, I had taught her for 2 classes.
Wow.
Yeah, and so when she hit it real big back into 2000s with American Idol and all that, I got phone calls from all over the country wanting background information on her, like from magazines, TV, that kind of thing. And they always seemed like they were disappointed when I would tell them, I don't have dirt here on her. She's like what you see. She has always been this way. She's a nice girl. She didn't get in trouble. She did her schoolwork, played church softball. She sang in the choir. She wasn't some wild and crazy girl. She'd come to class in her pajamas and house shoes and that kind of stuff. She'd that became a thing back in her day, was those big pajama pants. And then finally in a sweatshirt, and the school said, okay, can't do this anymore. But they were acting like, I want to say, oh no, she was wild and crazy. She wasn't anything like that. And I remember one time about 4 or 5 years after Idol, and she already had 2 or 3 big albums. And it was about 25 minutes before class, maybe 15 minutes, and about half my first period was there, and she just came walking in. She just came on campus, came walking in. And the kids, oh, Kelly Clarkson, they're all going crazy.
Wow.
And big crowd hung around the door. And I got on TV a couple of times. She made a movie right after American Idol with the guy that came in number 2. It's from Justin to Kelly was the name of the movie. It was a little innocent little beach type movie, Frankie and Annette, and kind of beach movie. And they had a big premiere at the local theater where she used to work at, and they had cameras there, and they asked me, "What'd you think?" "Oh, it was great." And it got on TV, and I had people calling me saying, "I saw you on TV, man."
That's cool.
That's my claim to fame, I guess. I've had a couple of kids that got into acting, and I've seen them on TV, but Kelly's the biggest one.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Vineyard Vibes. Vineyard Vibes.
Yeah,
Vineyard
Vineyard Vibes.
Vibes.
Yeah. Well, if Kelly calls me, I haven't heard from her in, a long time, but if she calls me, I'll say, "Hey, you need to come to Vineyard Vibes, doggone it, April 26th. Belt out a couple of tunes, sign some autographs. There
Can
you
you
are."
imagine how incredible of a fundraiser that would be for Harvest House?
It'd be hard to top that one.
I mean, we could, have generational wealth from that.
Yeah, I would imagine, she gets a lot of offers for that kind of thing. But I do know when she was growing up here, she was being raised by a single mom, a colleague of mine in the education field. Her mom taught at an elementary school here in Burleson. And it wasn't like they were destitute, but there wasn't a lot of money either. Okay. And I don't know how often they availed themselves of Harvest House, but I know times are tough.
Yeah.
So for that family, single income, single mom, that kind of thing. And that's what you do for a lot of people, isn't it? And that's I guess a misnomer about Harvest House or Promises or House of Hope here in Crowley is that the people that come here are destitute and on their last hope. But no, what I'm hearing from y'all for the last 2 or 3 years is you're getting people that never thought they'd be in that situation, that they had jobs or maybe have jobs, and they just got behind because of a massive car payment or a medical bill or something like that, and they found themselves having to choose between rent and groceries.
Yeah. And we can help with both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a much higher percentage of middle-class people that come for food or that come for a crisis bill payment. We're actually trying to gather those numbers right now so that we can see what is the percentage. We gather income data from everyone that comes. Anyone is allowed to have food. There's no requirement for your income for food, but we still gather that data so that we can understand the statistics of of who we're serving and better gauge that. So we're working on trying to get some numbers of how's that increased, the percentage of people that are below the poverty line, that are above the poverty line. But crisis intervention and crisis financial assistance is just specifically for that. It's for people that have found themselves, to no fault of their own, in a situation that has reduced the amount of income that's come in, which would then in turn mean that one assistance normally is what helps them, keeps them housed, keeps their electricity on, and allows them to stay steady. Versus if you didn't have something like Harvest House or one of the places that has financial assistance, then now we have a family that's getting evicted.
Right.
And then that snowballs into all of the things that we've talked about before: higher crime rates, abuse, things like that, drug addiction. A lot of those things can be tied back to loss of a house, loss of utilities. It starts somewhere.
Particularly for men, losing a job is really, really hard, because that's part of the man's makeup, so to speak, is having employment. And when they lose a job, even if it has nothing to do with them, somehow they think it's them.
I think it's just the ability to provide for them and their family is so important.
When I was a student a second time, I went back to school in the mid-'80s to become a school teacher. I was working at a grocery job, but money was really tight. But I had a support system that I could rely on if things really got problems. My parents, and like, for example, I didn't live with them. I lived in Arlington by myself, but, I go over to Sunday dinner and my mom would do, well, I made too much roast. You want to take the rest home with you? That kind of thing, right? Or I went to the store and I bought too much of this. Will you take these off my hands, please? And so that kind of thing. But not everybody has that, particularly if you're new to the community.
Yeah.
They don't have a family to rely on, whatnot. And a lot of times their family's probably as bad off as they are. That's one thing that Debbie always talked about, was the type of people that came to Promises would surprise you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've walked in there pretty often, and and people think you're going to see people that are one step away from homeless and they're all shabbily dressed, whatever. I see people there that look, I don't want to say normal, but they don't look like somebody you would pick out of a crowd as being in need.
A standard middle class person.
Yeah. And so I think that's a misconception a lot of the community has. Also, when they think of homeless, they think the guy at the corner with the little sign or something like that. A lot of these people are couch surfing or sleeping in their cars, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We serve about 40 to 50 homeless people a month. And I would say that about half of those people are street homeless. And then various other degrees, living in a hotel, staying on someone's couch, sleeping in their car. But all of those things are the definition of homeless. It's not just the person on the street corner with a sign, which we help those people too. We give them food and clothe them.
Well, do they come by to you, or do you go out to them?
They come to us.
Okay, good.
They come to us. Yeah, we do. Anytime I go past like 11A7 and McPherson or any of those places on 35, I give them my card and I invite them to come to Harvest House. There's not any other services right now that they qualify for, but we will feed them and clothe them.
What some of the ladies in our church do is they have like this emergency bag, if you will, in a Ziploc bag, and they'll give them to that because, a lot of people are reluctant to give them money because it can be misused.
That's right.
But you give them, Ziploc bag, like towelettes and some food.
Hygiene items,
things like that. We already talked about Vineyard Vibes, so let's talk about that. You have tables, you're going to have like a silent auction or anything like that?
So we're not going to have a silent auction. We do have some tables that come with sponsorship set up. Then we also have lawn seating. That's general admission. And we'll have local vendors out there. Cindy Jokum with It's All Good with Cindy's Massage will be out there. And then we have, what is it? KW Simply Made. She has earrings and jewelry that she sells.
I've seen her stuff at other events like this.
Christian clothing guy.
Oh, yeah. Christian Clothing will be out there. He has Christian T-shirts that he makes and sells. We love him very much. And so I think right about now we have about 9 vendors. We do have enough room for 26 vendors. So we're still looking for local vendors to come on.
is this catered, or you have some sort of food trucks or whatever?
So we will have food trucks out there. Old Texas Brewing Company will be out there.
Okay.
I believe K Macho Barbecue will also be out there. And I don't know if we've had a sweet vendor sign up just yet, but last year's was Jeremiah's Italian Ice. So
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Well, I remember I've been to 2 or 3 events with Texas Brewery, doing the catering. Jamie does a really good job.
Yes, she does.
And, I've only met her a couple times at chamber events, so I can't say I know her well, but I've met her a couple times.
What?
I'm sorry. I've been busy.
You need to get out there.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm too busy finding reasons to stay home. But anyway,
Jamie's a great person.
yeah, I've met her, like I said, I've met her at chamber events, and we've talked for a little bit, but to say I know her or like we're friends or whatever would be a bit of an exaggeration. But she's always been very pleasant. And I've been to several of her catered events, and like she does this stuff for our Burleson Opportunity Fund. We did that back in October. She did the breakfast, and it was pretty good. It wasn't just eggs and bacon. It was some nice stuff.
Yes, we were there. It was definitely great.
Oh, you were there? That's right. I remember that. Yeah,
I know. I had to sit on the stage, and I felt so awkward the whole time. I felt like everybody was staring at me.
they were.
Oh,
They
good.
said she's.
I saw you. I knew it.
Yeah. So we said, "Who's that person up there? Well, why is she hamming all the spotlight and all this other stuff?" Well, I'm going to have them on again too, because we have a golf tournament coming up.
So Jamie's husband will actually be there, and he does some amazing woodwork. I just can't even describe the beautiful woodwork that he does. So if you haven't checked his products out, you should definitely come out and look at that.
Now, what's the price of admission here?
$25 right now. Day of will be $30. So if you get your tickets now, it's only $25 for lawn seating.
Would you get VIP seating if you could do more?
So we are talking about opening table seating up and selling tables as well.
You can get VIP seating if you're a sponsor. You get a table, you get wine, you get a charcuterie board.
Yes.
Well, what if you're just a VIP? Do I have to sponsor? I mean, does somebody have to sponsor? Not just me, but
You could get a collective together and y'all could sponsor,
why not?
right?
I'll bring it up at Sunday school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
you
bring it up.
go.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in April. We have the Walk for Life. We have the Center for ASD. April is like the month, it seems like. But do y'all get together and coordinate, make sure you don't conflict? And
We
all
do
that?
do that. Yes,
Okay,
that's
good.
another great thing about Burleson is that all of our amazing nonprofits, we're all friends and we all
Right.
support each other. And when I go to these other different networking groups or things that are outside of Fort Worth, all of the nonprofits don't love each other like we do.
Well, yeah, because they feel like $1 for y'all is $1 they didn't get, but I don't think people in y'all's position look at it like that. And I see this for myself every September with that National or North Texas Giving Day over at Gina's. Now, I believe you were going, but your grandmother was ill.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was. I believe she had an instantly heart attack at that point, or she was in the hospital.
Yeah, well, what's I never heard the result of that story.
So she ended up getting a pacemaker in November. And then she's been doing really good with that.
Aren't you? You're pretty close with her. You told me.
So my dad was actually an only child, and he passed in 2018. And so that's his mother. I moved in with her, and I helped take care of her and guide her through life now.
Well,
Kelly is her full-time caregiver.
Well, that's kind of it's happening with my mother. She has all these health issues, and my sister doesn't live with them, but she lives like 2 minutes from her. She and her husband, and so they're there a lot. They have home health care. So we're right there with you. We know the story. In fact, she just got out of the hospital yesterday, and it's anyway. So $25 for pre-sale, and then $30 day of. Do you want us to bring some cans of food along too, or just
No, we don't have a food. We're not having a food drive there at that
Okay.
particular event. It's hard to get it from there
Yeah,
back to. But you can drop off food at Harvest House. Absolutely.
absolutely. At the appropriate time. Do you have any idea what y'all need on the pantry? Because sometimes, like the last time I went to Promises, they had zero practically produce.
Produce is always hard. Produce is very hard. Cereal is.
They had that, but they didn't have. I walked in there and said, "What do y'all need?" And they said, "Well, let me show you." And I mean, like I said, all the vegetable bins are almost empty.
Yeah, vegetables are very hard. Any kind of fresh produce is wonderful to have. Any kind of canned meat, tuna fish, chicken, Vienna sausages.
I love Vienna sausages.
I hate them.
Oh, it's so gross. So
If you grew up like I did on the farm in the summertime and you're on a tractor, it's Vienna sausage
So
and
it's
cracker
nostalgic
sandwiches.
for you. It's
You put your Vienna sausage, you mush it between the crackers, and you have an orange crush to go with it, and that is your lunch.
oh my.
Those good days, But as far as the pantries, a lot of people think canned food, and that's great and wonderful, but it's those other things that you don't think about, like, hamburger meat. All right. You go to HEB and get a tube of hamburger, pound of hamburger for like $4.85 or something like that. And so I would suggest those kind of things as opposed to just canned beans or whatever.
the health department has made it hard for us to accept such things like that. So
From the grocery store?
you have to have it shipped to us, or we have to pick it up. Mm-hmm. We can't just have.
I can't go to HEB and buy
Because what we don't know is how long it was in your car. Was it frozen before? I mean, you may tell us that it has been, but for the official public statement,
Yes.
we do not accept meat that is not.
Okay.
We'll talk about it when we're not live on the air.
Okay, good. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I understand, but that you got to, make sure that it's not been sitting out in the sun for 2 weeks, but you could tell that yourself. You don't need anybody to, All right. I'm going to call my friends.
I think a really great thing is if it's a staple on your dining room table, then it's definitely a staple in our pantry, like spaghetti sauce.
Oh, yeah.
We always have a need for that.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, spaghetti sauce, spaghetti
Yes.
noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I always think of, particularly in the summertime, I think, what is something that is like one meal in and itself?
Yes.
As opposed to, okay, this goes with other things, and they may not have those other things, right? So, I remember one time in the summer, they had like a 2-for-1 sale of the house brand of SpaghettiOs, I guess it was, or, canned spaghetti. And so, man, I walked in there with that, and they were enthusiastic because
Yes.
in the summertime, that's something a kid could open up and eat and make himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Macaroni and cheese and the macaroni and cheese cups,
Mm-hmm.
snack crackers,
Mm-hmm.
like the peanut butter crackers.
I think the bonanza one time Robin and I struck was around in August. If you bought 2 cans of the house brand, it was on sale. It was Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs and all that, and ravioli, but it was really on sale quite a bit. And if you bought 2 cans, you get a free pudding cup package with it. And we walked in with a bunch of pudding cups, and the ladies and promisers, they were going crazy because the kids are actually going to have a dessert because normally you don't get that at these places. Y'all probably don't get a lot of that.
We don't. You don't get a lot of that stuff during our summer food program. Whenever it's the summer food programs feed children that are in school that are on free and reduced lunch, so they have the opportunity to have additional food during the summer. And so in the summer we do a special fundraiser to raise funds, and we buy some of those kind of things that are easier. But obviously donations for those are wonderful. But it's the extra snack things. It's the easy open things. It's the things that kids can make on their own if their parents aren't home or unavailable, so that they will have the meals. So SpaghettiOs, macaroni and cheese cups, peanut butter, jelly, bread, which we have an incredible relationship with Bimbo. So Bimbo supplies all of our bread as well as Promises bread.
Yeah. I've asked before, and they said, we're good on bread.
Yeah, we're always good on bread.
Yes, most definitely.
Now, as far as SpaghettiOs, you're never too old to like SpaghettiOs. I love SpaghettiOs. I'm 63 years old.
Do you cut up your Vienna sausage and put it in your spaghetti?
I've done it before.
I bet you have.
I've done that. Or hot dogs. My mother used to do that, and so I did it,
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't feel like cooking. I'll just eat right out of the can, So it's I'm eating like a teenager, and that's pretty apparent. But anyway, I just know that y'all and the ladies, I've saying with the people here at Crowley House of Hope, it really is a labor of love. And I've seen a couple times, I've told you the story, maybe I didn't, I told Jennifer this story maybe, about how when I was doing student council, how we came in with a big, like 4 flatbeds full of food, because the student council had a young lady that really took it to heart. And she made that food drive the best I ever saw. And like I said, we had 4 flatbeds full of groceries, and we walked in there, and the lady started crying. And I'm like, what did I say? Well, let me show you. And there was literally 1 sack of groceries left. Everything else was bare to the man. This is like a week before Thanksgiving. This is like 2006, I think, or something like that.
God is always an on-time God.
And I mean, even
That's
now,
incredible.
it's hard to tell the story without emotion, but even I'm trying to be a tough guy in front of the students, I'm not crying, you're crying, but that kind of thing. But, but the girls that were there unloading were crying because,
What a blessing.
It's like, I don't think that anybody that was there at that place, there's like a dozen kids. I'm quite sure they remember that. And maybe it inspired them to continue to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
It's hope. But
It's a ripple effect,
But it was that's how tenuous it can be in your situation. I know it. Now, as far as the financial end of it, you'll be glad to have somebody drop a big check on you, but y'all still rely on the monthly donations, right?
Absolutely. It takes a diversification of all different things. People ask, what do you need the most of right now? Well, what do you need, food or money? It's all the things.
Yeah.
It's if one of those buckets dropped off, if the clothing donations dropped off, if the food dropped off, food donations, if the money dropped off, it takes all 3 of them. So whatever you feel comfortable with as a person, whichever is easier for you, whichever is, that you feel like you're called to do, they're all equally needed.
Well, I've talked to all your peers and you as well. Like I said, a large donation is always welcome, but it's the monthly ones that kind of keep the lights on, right?
Yeah, it is. And we have one monthly donor that's a $1 donor, and that's my favorite donor.
Yeah, well,
$1.
Well,
And what a blessing that is.
and what a sacrifice it must be. The sacrificial giving. I always have said this multiple times on the show about giving, about the widow's mites, and that kind of thing about, you don't think your 2 cents is going to make worth a hoot, but 2 cents in the hands of the Lord is a lot of money.
Absolutely. He multiplies it.
And so, I know y'all do more than just keep the lights on. You also use that money for helping people in temporary financial straits, like paying an electric bill or something like that.
We did $126,000 in financial assistance. So, yeah,
That's a lot of money.
it is a lot of money.
Wow. And I understand working at the Harvest House is a way to get rich quick, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that just really depends
No,
on
it's
what your
not.
riches are.
Yeah, I always
Good
kid people.
answer.
I always kid the people in the nonprofits like, so I saw you pull up in your Lexus today.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I will tell you, I do feel very rich, but I don't think it has anything to do with money. That's
then
for sure.
you are rich then, because money's fleeting. And there's always something taking it from you, it seems like. Every time I turn around, there's somebody I said, you owe me. So, but if you get internal riches, they can't take that, can they?
That's right.
No, they cannot.
I feel very
Absolutely
philosophical
not.
today. What was in my coffee? I don't know. So, I don't know. I can't tell you that, though.
Oh, wow. He's
Yeah. Well,
drinking on the job.
no, but there's some days in the school business that I would really wish we had an open bar back in the teacher's lounge.
That would have gone over really well with the state board.
There'd been a line there, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
We always joked with the principals, if you want a fundraiser for something, just put a margarita machine in there, $5 a pop. You'll build a new wing in about 2 months.
True.
I have new stories like that over from, not just from BISD days, but from, other districts, so. But no, we didn't do that. No, just a fleeting thought between classes, particularly when here comes 7th period. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And you're like, I hope that kid is absent today. Oh, there he is. There he
No,
is.
shame on you.
Shame on me. You go sit there, go through 7 of these classes, sister. And
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I might have been one of those students at a time.
No. Actually, there's those kind of students that you probably had the most impact on. Because
Yes.
a lot of these kids that come from pretty stable situations who get along great, it's wonderful. But the ones that didn't have that, that's the ones that you made the connections with because they needed that. So, there you go. Anyway, I've been running on overtime, and Josh is so busy. He's pointing at his watch and that kind of thing. He didn't have a watch. Kids don't wear watches. Do you have a watch?
I had one.
Had one, is that what she said?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was using an Apple Watch to
That
mainly
doesn't
keep track of my health. but
that doesn't count. I'm talking about like an old wristwatch, like a swatch.
Like a timepiece.
Yeah, like
Oh,
you look
timepiece.
at it instead of asking Dad what time it is, or that
yeah,
kind
I
of thing.
have some. I just don't wear them.
Uh,
They get broken really easy.
this generation, I don't know what to do with them. Anyway, finish up with it. Tell us what we need to know about Vineyard Vibes.
What you need to know is you need to come out on April 26th and join us from 3 to 7 p.m. at Lost Oak Winery. And we need ticket sales to happen. You can go to vineyardvibesbtx.com and look at all the opportunities, whether you want to volunteer. If you want to volunteer, you get in free for the day. If you want to become a vendor, or if you just want to buy a $25 ticket, that'd be great. Or if you're interested in sponsorship.
There's a QR code on this page.
There is access to everything on that page, vineyardvibesbtx.com.
And then if they want to just become a monthly donor, where do they send that? Is this Your Harvest House?
yourharvesthouse.org.
Org. Gosh, org, com, net. I can't keep these straight. Anyway, org. Okay. And they could just do the monthly giving, just recurring charge. And it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So,
We would love that. If it's $1, if it's $10, it doesn't matter. It all goes to the great place.
we have a couple of other nonprofit things, don't we, Josh?
We do.
Yes, we have Light Up the Night with our friends from the Center ASD. That's a couple of weeks prior to yours on April 11th over at the Brick. This is the third or fourth time they've done it. I'm not quite sure. But Lisa and her assistant, Miranda, will be here, I believe, 2 weeks from today. And we'll be talking about that then. And it's always a big deal, Light Up the Night and all that. And, you're talking about the camaraderie of all these people. I see y'all at other events, other people's events. It isn't like, not just your event, but you'll show up at these if you can, that kind of thing. I've seen people at Next Steps programs, that were part of other outfits. I saw y'all at BOF, like I said. There you go. All right, Light Up the Night. All right, and the Burleson Opportunity Fund Golf Tournament on May 1st. That's a Friday, so we're not getting in the way of people, I hope, over at Hidden Creek, and we need sponsors. I'm part of that group. Sam Ross was here Tuesday, but we talked mostly about spiritual matters, so to speak, because he's a very mature young man. He's for a man his age, he has a pretty good understanding of the gospel, and so we were talking about that. But anyway, we need sponsors, as everybody does. And we go for the funding for the Hill College scholarships. We're still struggling from COVID. Did y'all? And not that we're not paying our bills or anything like that, but we went through like a 2-year period without fundraising, and so we had to. We've been trying to catch up ever since. Y'all probably had to go through something similar to that.
There's no reserves. That's for sure.
Also, there is the Walk for Life, and I believe that's the 18th. I think that's right. Yeah, it is the 18th. Summer was telling us yesterday at the BNI meeting.
So and then there's the Ocho Loco for Crazy 8 Ministries.
And there's that City on the Hill, probably is the first or second Saturday of May.
And I think the Ocho Loco's in March.
Yeah, I haven't heard from them. I have to reach out to them again.
They have a new and amazing development person that's like in the same kind of role that Kelly's in. Her name's Sony. She's awesome. You should have her on.
Well, I know that for a long, long time, she had her assistant, a former student of mine, and now she works for Lisa directly.
Liz,
yeah. Right? Yeah. Having Liz, she wanted to be a baker. Back when I knew her in high school, I knew both her and her sister almost, and I keep calling her by her sister's name sometimes, which shows I'm getting old. But anyway, but she does a wonderful job. So Sony is the young lady who took her place. Because I know
it's a little bit of a different position, but yeah,
same thing.
Yeah,
more or less. All right, now we're about to go off the air, so you don't want to say anything as we're leaving, okay?
Oh, I think she should serenade us.
Yeah, okay.
Once again.
No.
Now, you're going to talk about your husband one more time as we leave the air?
He's amazing and wonderful and so knowledgeable.
Oh my goodness.
Kelly knows my husband.
I do know.
He's done work at Nanny's house, at her grandma's house for her to help her.
A really funny thing is I was at the grocery store last week and I was on my phone not paying attention, and some man came around my buggy and started taking out my groceries. and it was Amber's husband. And I was like,
what's his
what is
name?
happening?
His name's Lee Case.
Lee Case. Well, Lee, if you listen to this, honestly, before the show, she was singing your praises. So you done good. Y'all still on the honeymoon kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
It'll be 4 years in July.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Well, how fast they go. I've got 38 years coming up, and you think about it this way. I've been married longer than I was single, so there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
Josh, we'll see you Monday. We're going to have another fun show. We got the girls from the chamber, and that's always like, it's like having Lucy and Ethel on the show. And so y'all are like the nanny, Fran and her friend Valerie.
Oh
or
my
whatever.
gosh,
And,
that sounds so terrible. I don't know if I like that.
you never see the show?
No.
It's okay. They were. It's a funny show. It's a comedy. They were like a little. It's fine. It really is. Y'all spend too much time doing good work. You need to watch more TV.
I don't even actually own a TV, so
Don't they sell TVs at the Harvest House?
I do.
Okay,
But
do
I
you?
don't own one. I don't want to watch it.
All right. All right. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for the entertaining show, ladies, and we will see y'all soon at your
Yes.
Vineyard Vibes.
All right. Thank
All right.
you.
See you later.